Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I've been friends with Sarah since high school. We've been through everything together, and I consider her to be one of my closest friends. About a year ago, I found out that my husband, Tom, had cheated on me. My close friend Sarah told me one day in person with picture evidence at a local bar. It was an easy and quick divorce since we had only been together for 2.5 years total. Quick and dumb, I know. Now, about 6 months after the divorce, Sarah suggested her and I take a single girl trip to Italy, and that it was only $7,000 per person for the whole week for June of 2023. I didn't have the money at the time, but she covered me and wanted me to pay her back last week. Well, turns out for the past 5 months, as of today, she has been sleeping with my ex-husband Tom. I found out after my other friend Claire told me that they had been keeping the relationship a secret the whole time. Why she didn't tell me sooner, I don't know. Instead of confronting Sarah, I waited until she asked me to pay her back, and I just told her she can take Tom. Well, she didn't like that answer, because I know my ex-husband is a deadbeat and doesn't have any money. Well, she told me a majority of it is non-refundable, like the flights that are in my name, and I told her tough luck, shouldn't have lied behind my back. Now, half my friends are telling me to pay her and just go do my own thing, while the other half are supporting me. I kind of feel bad footing her with such a bill, because I know she used her credit card since she didn't have that much cash at the time. Some of my friends suggested still going and still not paying her back. I have the boarding passes, etc., but I don't know if I should go for that. Am I the a-hole for footing her the bill? Everyone sucks here. You're an a-hole, but you're the a-hole she deserves. I'm glad the universe gave you this delightful opportunity. Not the a-hole. She sure got some brass ovaries betraying you like this, covering for you, and thinking you'd never find out and that you'd definitely pay her back. I find the action highly suspicious and wonder if she wasn't the one cheating with him in the first place and tipped you off to try and nab him for herself. They deserve each other. Not the a-hole. This is a tough one. I had to narrow it down to this. You agreed to the trip under false pretenses. You wouldn't have agreed to go overseas with a person without integrity. I think that's enough to break that contract. I think if you handle it very neutrally from that perspective, then not the a-hole. This was hard because it's easy to judge so many layers of this. The situation inspires an emotional reaction from multiple angles. As a tip to avoid being the a-hole in the future, don't agree to stuff you can't afford or put friends or family in awkward money situations. My wife's parents divorced when she and her 2 sisters were young, 10, 8, and 4. Her father remarried and had her half-sister, 29 female. Her mother remarried and adopted a Korean son, 28 male, to whom my wife is very close. Her natural father has always given all of his time, money, and energy to his new family. She felt very much abandoned as a young teen and did not want a relationship with her father. Her half-sister, at 29, continues to live at home and has never held a full-time job. My wife and I put ourselves through college ourselves, with no help from our families. We have come up from nothing and did it all by ourselves, which is satisfying. She reconciled with her natural father a few years ago and sees him about 2 to 3 times a month for lunch. He has made it clear to her that his priority is taking care of his new family, and everything in his will is left to his new wife and new daughter. So while that was painful, it was not a surprise to her. My wife has always considered her new stepdad her father. They're pretty close. They live nearby, and we have holidays with them and see them very frequently. This set of parents has always been bad with money, and we have helped them out many times when they have had emergencies, i.e., bad planning. I estimate we've gifted them about $20,000 over the last 20 years. We helped because we wanted to, and although it's always done with the intention of getting paid back, usually we never see it again. I'm okay with that, and subscribe to the notion that loans to family are considered gifts. Today we learned that stepdad and natural mom's life insurance and will name only her adopted brother. All 3 sisters from the first marriage are cut out of that will. This one hurts her a lot. I told her that at least she knows where she stands, and that we've always taken care of ourselves, so who needs them? but I recognize that this is small comfort for a very deep wound she's experienced. What can I do to support her during this? Edit 1. This isn't about the money. There's not much of it, anyway. This is about the stepfather that she thought considered her his child, rejecting her. It hurts a bit more because her natural father rejected her years ago. Edit 2. Advice seems to fall into two camps. Maybe the brother needs it more. Negative. In terms of success, we're at the top. Sister number 1 is number 2, brother is number 3, and sister 2 is barely scraping by. Her brother is a hard worker and hustles. I'm proud of him for doing as well as he is at this stage of his life. So if they wanted to help the one with the most need, it would be sister 2. Edit 3. How she found out. Her stepfather asked her to scan and fax his life insurance form, which listed my wife's mom as primary, appropriate, and adopted son as secondary, inappropriate. She talked to him and asked him why she and her sisters weren't included as secondary, and he told her that their wills looked like that too. She just left the room upset and told me about it. Edit 4. A comment below reminded me of a relevant recent event. A few months ago, her mom asked her for a loan of $10,000 so they could pull up roots here, near us and sister 2, and relocate to be near the son. Fortunately, my wife said no. Well, stop gifting, that's for damn sure. I can't imagine why they would feel the need to tell her this, other than as a massive duck you. Basically, she has nobody who considers themselves her parents, unless to get money from you. Get used to it. Sucks. It may be they don't see her as needing anything from them, so are choosing to leave whatever estate they have to the child with the greatest need. If there is any stuff she would like, furniture, jewelry, stuff of memories, ask for it to be put in the will. They very likely don't realize that even might be of interest to her, seeing you both in better shape than them. You say that you have been the ones to help out monetarily over the years, which leads me to believe that there's nothing but debt to inherit. Realistically, the insurance will be eaten up by end-of-life costs and debt settlement. There's likely nothing to be cut out of. My husband, Jerry, and I have been together for 6 years, and we've been trying to conceive for the past 2 years. I don't want to go into details, but I have a genetic disorder which requires IVF, in vitro fertilization. Jerry and I have been looking for egg donors which closely resemble me, but so far we haven't had much luck. Jerry's mother, Laura, has been pressuring us for grandkids since the day we got married. She is a Catholic, and she had a huge family and wants us to have a large family. Laura's generally supportive, but she is a bit misguided. Ever since she found out we have to do IVF, she has been fretting and worrying about us not being able to find a suitable donor. This is the part where Jerry's sister, Sarah, comes into the picture. A while back, Sarah had signed up for egg donation because she was hoping to earn some extra money for school. Sarah is a pretty blonde, and she was almost instantly chosen to donate for another couple. She's done a few cycles for them, and they were able to have a beautiful, healthy baby. Of course, Laura saw this happening and started hinting that Sarah could be our donor, and Sarah also jumped on board to donate. The problem is, Sarah is a cute blonde, and I am mixed race. I'm half Korean and I have dark hair and dark eyes. The donors that I've been looking at are also mixed race, or they're Hispanic or Asian. I want my baby to have at least a few of my characteristics, but Sarah and I don't really share any physical or personality features in common. I'm trying not to be selfish, but I plan on carrying the baby myself, and it would just be weird if the baby didn't look like me at all. I've tried talking to Laura about it, but she is still keeping her hope that I will choose Sarah as my donor. I've tried telling them no in every variation I could. Jerry has also talked to them about it, but they keep pressuring. It's very difficult because I know Laura and Sarah just want to help me, but I don't want to accept their help. I'm not sure what I can do. First off, I think that's a really bad idea. Whoever your egg donor is, she should be someone not related to you. Don't get tangled up with, oh, well, she's ours, but technically her aunt is also her bio mom. This could end so badly. Also, assuming you want to use your husband's sperm, you can't use his sister's eggs, period. You still need to work on telling your mother-in-law and sister-in-law that while you appreciate their generosity, you're not able to accept it, and the subject is no longer open for discussion. Then stop sharing your private plans with them. Also, want to note that using the sister's eggs can lead to unintended custody consequences. It depends on where you are, but it's happened where the egg donor decides to go for custody, and as a bio parent, they are given preference, even with a contract in place. Some places and districts are still trailing when it comes to IVF custody laws and such, which is why it is usually recommended to go with a stranger's egg. It might not be a problem at all, but it is something to consider. I read that you'd be using both donor sperm and donor eggs. Have you considered adopting an embryo? There are many extra frozen embryos left over from other patients using IVF, and they often get donated. Might save you some money, and you could avoid the whole sister-in-law egg donation thing. Find a suitable match, has what characteristics you want, and then we've decided to use donated embryos. 10 years ago, I was an idiot, and I had an affair with a coworker. My wife found out, and we almost got a divorce over it. We went to therapy, and I immediately severed contact with said coworker, left the company, and got another job. It was a hard and painful road, but our marriage is now wonderful, and we are honestly truly happy. I know my past affair still gives my wife some pain, but she's truly forgiven me and says she's very happy she decided to stay married to me and not get a divorce. We have 2 children, and they never knew about the affair. The only people who ever found out were both of our parents and a couple of very close friends. Fast forward to today, and my son, from a previous relationship, my wife's stepson, and his wife are pregnant with their first child. It's a girl, and I was so happy. Yes, I was. Today, they told me that they will be naming their baby daughter. It's the same name my affair partner had. My wife doesn't know because I haven't told her, but I'm crushed. I'm so afraid this will cause my wife unnecessary pain. I'm scared this will cause my wife to resent me again. I'm scared she won't love the baby, or she will treat our granddaughter badly because of the name she has, or at the very least, will love her less. Is there any way I can somehow convince my son and his wife to not use this name for their baby? How do I break this news to my wife? Is there another way to cope and work through this? I was the child in this equation. I was about 5 months pregnant with my daughter when I told my mom we were down to 2 names. She strongly encouraged me to not pick one of them. It was weird, and ultimately she came clean and said that immediately prior to my parents getting married, my dad had a relationship with a woman who got pregnant, had a baby, and named her this name. My dad apparently hadn't been part of her life since she was born. I had a half-sister I didn't know about and was being told not to use the name. It was a lot to process, and I wasn't thrilled with any of it to say the least. Ultimately, though, I am glad my mom told me. I would have been utterly disgusted if it had come out later I named my daughter and couldn't make a choice for her, and it would have come out. Fast forward about 5 years, and my half-sister found my dad, and they have had a relationship since. She lives states away, and I've never met her, but certainly would have found out. Tell him the deal. Let him make the decision. But you have no say-so in what the name of the baby is. The problem with keeping it a secret is it won't always stay a secret. Someday, this will come out, and he could feel very hurt by your initial betrayal to your family and this new perceived betrayal. I'm going to be a voice of dissent here and say that I think it depends on whether or not you think that your son would A. want to know, and B. whether he would change his mind if he did know. If you think that those 2 things are true, then yes, I would definitely tell them. I would hate to name a child something and then find out later that I was causing my parents pain by doing so. Plus, I just simply wouldn't want a name associated with something like that for my child. More importantly, however, you can't force your son to do anything, so get that out of your mind right now. In the end, it's up to him and his wife, not you. Talk to your son privately. It's going to suck, but he deserves to know that if he makes this choice, it will cause your wife pain for a long time. I would hate to do that to someone I love, not knowing how hurtful it was. Let him decide what to tell his wife. Maybe they'll tell you to screw off, but maybe they'll reconsider and nip this in the bud. So I, 45 male, have a half-sister Alyssa, 37 female, who is about 350 pounds and is obese. Alyssa has been talking about getting a gastric sleeve surgery for the past year or 2 to help her lose weight. For those who don't know what it is, it's a surgery where they essentially shrink the size of your stomach, and you can lose up to 50% of excess body fat within a year or 2 of the surgery. I know it's been extremely difficult for her to lose weight, and I'm very happy that she wants to look into different methods to help her gain control of her life again. She has finally found a doctor who she feels comfortable with, and has gone in for a few consultations to learn more about the procedure, and everything has seemed like it was going well regarding the surgery. But recently, she came over for dinner with my wife and I. Alyssa explained to us that the surgery she wants is expensive, and the doctor quoted $22,000 USD for the surgery, as well as some plastic surgery afterwards that she wants done to remove excess skin and scars. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any savings and has been living close to paycheck because she works in retail management, and the cost of living in our city is extremely high. In comparison, my wife and I work in decently stable fields and have 9-to-5 corporate jobs, so we're in a better financial position than Alyssa. So she asked us if we could pay for her gastric sleeve surgery and the plastic surgery afterwards too, because she can't afford it and our parents also cannot help her financially. After speaking with my wife privately, we decided that we couldn't pay for it without changing our current lifestyles, but we would be willing to put $5,000 towards the procedures, and we could take care of her pets during the recovery period. Alyssa has been extremely cold to us since we told her this, and is now badmouthing my wife and I for not helping her have a necessary life-changing experience, and prioritizing our current lifestyle over her health. I think she feels as if I'm the one now holding her back from living her life to the fullest, healthiest. My parents have even called saying maybe we can pull our son, 16 male, out of his private school, which costs a similar amount for a year, and put that money towards Alyssa's health. My wife immediately turned them down, saying this will disrupt his education and mental health, and we will not be doing this. Now we're the a-holes of the family, and everyone thinks we're greedy snobs. I want my sister to get healthier, but I think we've already offered enough cash and our time if needed. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your offer was generous. You are right to put your son first here. Not the a-hole. Perhaps instead of pulling your child out of his school, your parents can sell their home and rent something cheaper, or get a home equity loan, or your sister can get a personal loan. Not the a-hole. It baffles me how people can be so entitled. Your offer was more than generous.